Yes. No pressure. Look, I got them bless you. Come on. Wonder why I'm feeling extra. Say what it do, what the business is. Folk running over what the devil saying. Shoes, pants, chest, shoulders. Get up off me, don't get closer. It ain't over till it's over. Gang, pressure, big joke. Jesus like, don't trip. Finna make the boat tip. Set the tone with that ice cold, but I won't slip. In my bag like road trip. Switch stands, do my dance, dog, he really don't miss. I don't need a crystal unless it's hot sauce, brother. And I ain't gotta sell my soul just to pop off, brother. Ain't no demon time when you anointed. I keep it regal like movies and hop out like I'm getting dropped off, brother. Car smelling brand new. And we don't rock with the flakes, call me shampoo. We just tryna spread that light, bring them lamps through. Just got me thinking that it's nothing that I can't do. Feeling like the champ too. We just out here praising God, looking fly, you know, regular day. No pressure. Look, I got them bless you. Come on. Wonder why I'm feeling extra. Say what it do.
Forgot my microphone. There we go. Did I plug it in? What's up, family and friends? Welcome back to another edition of the Wrap Up Podcast, where we dive into the latest news, sports, and culture. I am your host, Lenny B. And I appreciate each and every one of you for tapping in with me. Big shout out to those that's hitting the like button, sharing the vibes, subscribing. Remember to put God first. Let's get to the wrap-up session. What's up, my people? How y'all feeling out there? Happy Sunday. What's going on? Do a little housekeeping real quick. Make sure we're good on the IG side and the Facebook side. Let's see. We got a quick one for y'all. You know how y'all feeling out there. Make sure you hit a like on the way in. So we got a quick show for y'all. Go a couple things. Not so much news, just real conversation. What up, Teriyaki? Just quick conversations. And yeah, we can see how it flows, and we can go from there. I'm pull this, pull that, like that. Pull Keish real quick. How y'all weekend going? Y'all good? That's that. Put you at bam. What up, Keish?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
I can hear you. I can actually I can go like this. Nah, this is good right now. Yeah, so I wanted to show a couple things for us to kind of wrap about, and then kind of see where the conversation goes. But I think as I was thinking of putting a show together, I think we have a lot of positive topics to kind of talk about today, and yeah, so we can start with the first one, and let me know how you feel about this.
Okay.
More faithful and connected after a massive record-shattering baptism that took place across the state of California in the Baptized California movement. 12,000 people took the biblical plunge in the largest baptism in U.S. history last weekend. Of course, this comes after a number of college campuses have held their own massive worship events in recent months. So why are more stories like these making headlines? Why aren't they making headlines? Well, here to discuss is strategic advisor to Faith in Media Coalition, Kim Douglas. Kim, it's so great to have you on this morning with some really positive news for once. We love that we're covering this. So 12,000 people were baptized, 6,000 in just one location, I believe in Huntington Beach. What's happening?
Yeah. Listen, it is so good to be on with you guys here at Fox and Friends, Rachel, and thank you for having me. And isn't it wonderful to start with some great news like this?
Amen.
It's just, when we see all of the negative news that's on and young people blocking each other and screaming at each other, it just seems like the coverage of young people coming together to go underwater and then come back up and feel like, I want to go out and serve others. I want to go out and encourage others. I want to be the best person I can possibly be. Just doesn't seem to get the coverage that it deserves.
No, I just recently saw some polling numbers of belief, young people's belief in America, which is plummeted. I think it was only 20-some% of them even believe in God. So again, back to this question, what is happening? Because they're clearly not getting it from the culture. The culture couldn't be more anti-Christian. Many of their parents don't practice the religion, don't go take them to church. But yet these young people are being drawn towards the faith and towards getting baptized and really fully committing themselves. What's happening? Is it that they're just maybe, not getting disillusioned by social media, faux connections, the kind they get on social media? What's happening?
Well, here's what's happening. Statistics and we at the Coalition for Faith in Media have been doing a lot of polling, and Gallup polls and studies show that over 80% of Gen Zers, Rachel, are saying that they feel loneliness, they feel isolated, they feel rudderless. And also, we did some polling and found out that globally, over 90% of the world has a faith in a higher power. I'm not saying in one specific religion, but just in a higher power. I'm feeling like this loneliness, this isolation, being shut down with COVID, all of that, people are looking for something that can give them community, that can give them something bigger than themselves. And that's why you're finding these large groups, 12,000 young people coming to a beach in California. Are you kidding?
Right.
I mean, they are hungry for something. They're looking for community. They're looking for faith. There's got to be something more than just here, just us. That's all. That's all we've got. And I think the media isn't really covering it, but believe me, I believe they will, because now all of these positive shows, The Chosen or The Baxters, or I Can Only Imagine, movies like that that are faith related, the numbers are polling. They're coming in. People want more of this. And so it's up to us to start bringing it to them, because this is the answer. Having a faith in a higher power is going to bring you a community. It's going to bring you a happier person. You're not going to feel so isolated or lonely.
Yeah, and I think, young people are just sort of naturally kind of countercultural. I can't think of anything more countercultural in this environment.
Wow.
Yeah, so I saw that over the weekend, and I thought it was pretty amazing to see. Record-breaking baptisms, largest baptisms in baptism in U.S. history. So that's good to see. It's a positive thing to see that's going on in the U.S. with all the negative that we see. What's your thoughts on that?
Right. I definitely I think that God is just drawing his people back, right? I think it's awesome. I think that we have become so desensitized that now you have to figure out like what more is there, right? And
Hmm.
by doing that, you will build a community of people that just want to see everybody win. The reason why it's not, I think, the reason why it's not trending, right, is because people like seeing mess, right? They like
Right.
drama, they like toxicity, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that it was, what did they say, 12,000? That's impressive.
Right. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. What were do you remember some of the feelings that you felt when you got baptized? What are some of them feelings?
Just acceptance and freeance, feeling free. Um, and just grateful, like gratefulness that God has decided to forgive me is what I felt. I can't speak for everybody else, but those are some of the feelings that I felt.
Did you feel scared, nervous?
Only because I can't swim.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, I will say, yeah, definitely nervous because I can't swim.
Right. Yeah. Um did you feel more sense of a purpose after your baptism, or was it more of just the feeling of being accepted?
Um, I would say the purpose to even be drawn to be baptized starts before, right? Like the fact that they're
Right.
doing that is like there was a community built prior, to that. Like what draws people to God? I would say people are drawn to God in their brokenness. So if they're saying that all these people felt isolated and it's this generation, all of these are broken people that need answers. Like why this cannot be life. This is not it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
No.
don't yeah.
No, that's good. I would say me just getting baptized. What was that, last month or so? I would say that I felt kind of like you said, the the gratefulness to understand that Jesus, kind of, forgives, for your sins and all the things that you have done prior to the baptism, and it's kind of kind of like with the kids. It's just like, hey, we understand that you gonna make mistakes, but we're not here to punish you and throw you away. And I think it was more of the like the gratitude, the grace that I felt um coming up out of the water, I would say, where it was just like, hey, like I am truly, you know uh forgiven on my repentance, and just, that outward expression that we speak on, where it's just
Right.
like it's not such a uh, it's like a bold statement where, a lot of people can keep it tucked in, where it's just like, oh, I believe in, God, or, not really say Jesus, the name. But I think through the baptism and just going through that process, it really made me kind of just, want to be freer, you know,
Mm.
just not be, I guess, I don't say it was being afraid, but just understanding the process, and when you start reading a little bit more, you understand that a lot of, the people that was in the Bible that, did great things, they had hiccups just as, the everyday people in this life. So it kind of helps you not beat yourself up so much,
Right.
and understand that like you can overcome whatever you are, battling. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I want to say Keisha number two said, we live in a world of selfishness. People have turned their focus to self instead of moving as a community or a village. And I fully agree with that. A lot of people, like, say, if you have a business idea, right? You're going to go
Right.
out, you're going to learn out everything, you're going to learn everything, and then you're going to put people on once you feel like you're successful. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
not you, but I'm just using that as an example. And
Correct.
and I feel like people have gotten to the habit of that. Like, oh, I can't put you on until I'm good. And then if you do put someone on, then there's this thing called jealousy. Like, oh shoot, they doing better than me. And it's like, no, you shouldn't even think like that. Like, it should be a community based situation. Like, if you could do this, then I can do that, and let's all work together and build this community back up the way it should be, without jealousy or envy. So I agree with Miss Suki.
Right, right. Yeah, for sure. I think it's all about community. And yeah, the selfishness is definitely a thing that you see throughout communities. And it's one of them things where it's just like, how can we get rid of um the self part and the do for,
Mm-hmm.
the actual service part. And that's kind of like one of the things that we've talked about a lot as well. It's
Right.
just like, how can we serve more instead of
Right.
always in the receiving part of like, hey, my hand is open, but how much are you actually serving your family? How
Right.
much are you serving your community and things like that? So like, yeah, it's amazing to see wrapping that part up. It's just amazing to see that 12,000 people.
Right.
Um,
I have
that's
a question before you wrap it up.
yeah.
Do you think that selfishness is taught?
Uh, do I think selfishness is taught? Do I think selfishness is taught?
Inadvertently, do you feel like it's taught?
Uh, in a way, yeah. I would say yes more than the the giving part.
Right.
I think I think we're taught to understand our possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think through it being your possessions, like selfishness is taught, right? So
Right.
like as a kid, those are your toys,
Right.
you know,
Right.
versus like, hey, these toys, they're for you, but when you have people come over, or just when you're in the community and things like that, they're toys that kids can play with. But
Right.
you can play with them because they're here at the house, versus like, hey, those are your toys. If you don't want anybody playing with them, you don't have to, have people play with them. Those types of, uh,
Right. Right.
yeah. So yeah, I think I definitely think it's a taught
Mm-hmm.
thing. What do you think?
And yeah, I do think that it's inadvertently taught. Like, like, oh, you're the prettiest kid ever, or, you know, um, like, oh, how dare that teacher talk to you like that? You're my baby. Like, do you know who you are? I think sometimes when we're encouraging kids, sometimes we can overdo it, and you know, then we start teaching that, oh, well, that's mine, and what do you mean? Who are you talking to? And I see it a lot of times in the school buildings where children feel like, no, I don't have to do that. My mom said I don't have to do that. I feel like these kids are on steroids now, but I
Right.
do feel like selfishness is taught more now than ever.
So what do you think about the difference between like selfishness and um just understanding that those are your possessions, possibly?
Well, for example, like, if you have something, you should be grateful that you even have something. So
Right.
like, if someone comes over and they don't have it, and you're playing together, you should be honored to, like, man, I'm so lucky I have this. I'm gonna play with you and let you play with it. And when it's all said and done and it's time for you to go, at least you had the opportunity to play with it too. I remember when I was little, and I have a lot of siblings, and my cousins had this easy bake oven. I was so pressed to go over there and play with their easy bake oven. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because I knew my parents were not gonna buy that for me because it was so many of us.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like, now with having kids, yo, share with them. Like, you'll be
Right.
just fine because you're not lacking anything.
Yeah. I
I hope I answered that. Sorry.
no, it you did. The being grateful part is, let's be real, a ongoing thing to um
Learn.
f- learn and feel, because you can be grateful, but there are certain times throughout your day or your week you gotta you gotta keep that in check, right?
Right. Right. That's true.
Yeah, so like I could be grateful all I want, but there are going to be certain times where it's just like, ah, man, I don't want to wake up to this job, or
Yeah.
or I feel hungry when I just ate 3 hours ago, you know?
Right.
Like, how do
But that
you,
stems from us full.
what's that?
That stems from us being spoiled. Would you not say that? Like, we're able to, like, man, I'm not even hungry, but I want this. So now I'm about to bake me some cookies. Or now I'm about to, man, I know I got all this stuff to do, but I feel like going to, the beach real quick. I'm about to
Right,
just go ride to the beach. The stuff will get done when I get ready to do it. So I think prioritizing and spoiled behavior coupled, you know, um,
right.
that's, not grateful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Let's go right here to this story right here.
Okay.
Horrific attack in Haiti. Two American missionaries shot and killed by gang members in Port-au-Prince. Their murders coming after President Biden and the president of Kenya pledged support for a plan to send a UN-backed police force to Haiti. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
Tonight, a deadly attack on American missionaries in Haiti's capital. Oklahoma-based Missions in Haiti says 23-year-old Davy Lloyd and his wife, 21-year-old Natalie, were ambushed and killed along with the group's Haitian director. The founder of the charity says he was on the phone with his son Davy and daughter-in-law for hours as the horror unfolded.
He's like, "Oh, Dad, I gotta go." He goes, "There's a bunch more guys coming in the yard."
The group holed up in the house, pleading for help, while the gang shot all the windows out of the house. Missions in Haiti unable to get them a police evacuation or to negotiate with the gang before losing contact.
He just wanted to take that revenge out on my son and daughter-in-law and Jews, from what I can tell.
Natalie Lloyd's father, Missouri State Representative Ben Baker, saying in a Facebook post, "My heart is broken in 1,000 pieces. I've never felt this kind of pain." This latest ambush coming just hours after President Biden hosted Kenya's president at the White House, saying the U.S. will lend support to a Kenyan-led security mission in Haiti.
This is a crisis. It's able to be dealt with.
Late today, we asked Kenya's President William Ruto about the 1,000 police officers heading to Haiti.
A group of missionaries, including Americans, were killed in Haiti last night by gangs. Can the Kenyan forces stop that kind of violence?
Yes. We believe we have what it takes. I think we have the best chance to deal with the gangs and to secure Haiti once and for all.
And with more than 1,300 Americans have been evacuated from Haiti ever since that country has been gripped by gang violence. But a U.S. official says that several hundred Americans still remain. Now, Davy Lloyd's father tells us that his son was devoted to his work and that he's wanted to be a missionary in Haiti ever since he was a child. Whit.
Selena Wang for us tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was.
Ah, that's sad.
That's tough because when you hear that the guy's dream was to be a missionary in the country that basically where he died at. It's sad to see that because that was his lifelong dream.
Mm-hmm.
um but I would say too it's dangerous because no, not taking real shots at the president or anything like that, but it's very dangerous when you make um statements like that and you still
Mm-hmm.
have your citizens in a vulnerable position. And I think that's very wrong when it was no way to get those missionaries and all the ones that was volunteering over there out.
Right. 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 Because an evacuation should have been, sent prior. Haiti has been at war for a while now. This is
Right.
not new.
Right.
And so if you're going over there on a missionary trip, you're kind of going knowing like that's a possibility because you're going into a war. I think Teriyaki just said like, man, they're in the middle of a civil war. Like what are you even doing over there? Like what souls, I'm not saying that you cannot save souls, but I'm saying that you're going in the battlefield, like you need to
Right.
suit up. Right. And so it is sad that that was his life mission and this was the opportunity, the time and opportunity that he had to go do that. But like, man, it's just sad. It's just really really sad.
Yeah, and so like I mean, but what do you do even because a lot of times, even Papua New Guinea just had something that that just went down. I think a natural disaster. I think it was plus their missionaries and things like that. That's over there. But
Mhm.
my question to you is, do you like how do you sit there and say like no, I'm not going to go because it's a danger zone versus I feel led to go to this place and I know that Jesus is going to cover me in this place.
So if you were led to go, right,
Right.
then you'll either A, be covered, or B, die a martyr, right, for Jesus, right? And
Okay.
so, you know, you just wanting to go, that just sounds like a lifelong dream of saying, hey, I want to go. I love the Lord, I'm gonna go. See, God gives us grace for everything that we are allowed to do, right? And so our problem is we think we are allowed to do any and everything in the name of the Lord. But no, you have to ask God the same way the kids have to ask us, right? If it's time, when should I go to truly be led by the spirit, right?
Right.
And so if he was led to go, then he went there knowing that he was going to die. If he didn't know, then he wasn't led to go because God would have covered him. And I think who was that? Kathy said, "How did they even get there? Why is it allowed for people to even still be able to go, knowing that it's in the middle of a war? Like, why is that okay? I want to say a few years back we weren't allowed to go to China because it was too bad. So why is it? Why is that allowed?
Well, I think if I took a shot at it, I think it would just be the humanitarian part of um, our Haiti mission. So I think Americans will always be in Haiti, especially when it comes to missionary work.
Right.
It's not, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. That's not my part here. I'm just saying that the reason why I think that we will always have an American presence is
Hmm.
because of the you know the mission that we have over there in Haiti, whether it's right or wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Man. Yeah, it's just
But
sad.
it's
Prayers go out to that family for sure.
100%, and it it's sad to see that a young missionary. I think they said he was 23. To
Hmm.
go out like that at such a young age.
Right.
But on the I would say on the I guess the brighter side, you would say is just like he went out, doing his mission, and
Right. 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 Right.
and 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 living for the Lord, and all of those types of things. So it's just like, you can't really look at the age when you look at his possible impact that he had on his family, and on the people that he touched in Haiti. So I mean,
Right. Right.
yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. I agree with you for sure.
yep, yeah. Um, let's see. Let me touch this part right here.
Time out for all of us. Well, new tonight, if you or someone you know works the overnight shift, you know all too well the toll it can take on their health.
But tonight, there's new evidence of just how fast working the graveyard shift can impact your body. Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is live in the newsroom with more. Linda?
Yeah, good evening, first of all, to both of you. Well, this new study is confirming what many people already know here. It can absolutely throw your body out of whack working overnight. But this study also found that can happen in just 3 days.
Working overnight can be a grind.
The brain doesn't really adapt to that kind of a schedule very much.
In fact, experts say the brain battles the body's metabolic system when you are working overnight because we are not supposed to be awake during those hours. A new study out of Washington State University found that after working just 3 days of overnight shifts, the proteins that regulate blood glucose are disrupted.
That tug of war actually has consequences for the way we metabolize our food, for the way we process our glucose, and respond to that glucose with insulin. And we believe that has long-term consequences for health.
Professor Hans van Doggen led the study. He says when internal rhythms are thrown off, it puts stress on the body and wear and tear on our organs.
Increased risk of diabetes, obesity, heart disease.
Dr. Randy DiLorenzo is with Northwell at Syosset Hospital on Long Island. He says although the recent research out of Washington State University only studied 14 people, it still provides some interesting findings as to why overnight shifts are so damaging to the body.
I see a number of nurses and doctors, and many of them do complain, and also policemen. They do complain when they work the nighttime shift. It does take a toll on them.
And because the overnight shift can put so much stress on the body, doctors say it is extremely important to try to counteract that by eating healthy and exercising. But the problem is, after working overnight, the last thing that you feel like doing when you get home is exercising. Steve and Natasha, back upstairs to you.
Yeah, did mornings for a long time. It is tough on the body, that's for sure.
It can be brutal.
Yeah, and you crave junk food, too, to make it worse. All
You
right.
sure do.
Thanks.
Yeah, have you ever done any night shift stuff?
You know I have.
No, that was a serious question. You know my memory is bad. How did you feel? Did you feel a difference in your body?
Oh yeah, I feel like that's the quickest I've ever quit a job too, because it was just affecting my life so deeply. I was a lot younger, but boy, I ain't never quit a job so
much,
quick.
Linda.
Right.
With no, secure job.
Right.
In my future. So yeah, it definitely. I remember being very exhausted, feeling like I didn't have time to do anything, not being able to sleep because the sun was out, still having stuff to do. So it just seemed like time went by too quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. No.
Do you feel? Because I'm trying to think of, because it was saying like most overnight shift workers gain weight and things like that, but I don't think that is in the nursing field though. Like I don't really see a lot of big nurses, or maybe I'm.
Well, but a nurse's schedule normally is like 3 on, 4 off, or 4 on, 3 off. So like, they probably know what to do. They have they have medical knowledge, so they probably readjust in those few days, or eat certain things, or work out. Like, something's happening. But there are people who truly, and it's only for a season. Like, even in the military, they have different shifts. Like, oh well, we're gonna work graveyard for this point in time, then we're gonna switch, and now we're gonna move on to the A shift, B shift, or however that go, right? And so, but if you think about it, man, what solar, right? The sun, solar, right? It is used to charge us up, right? It is used to charge. It's used to, the same way that it's used to charge a battery on a phone, like those little solar batteries. The sunlight gives it energy to begin to charge your phone or your home or whatever, right? And so I think the sun has the same effect on the human body, to where you need it. You need to at least feel it. Because I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago we went to England, and it seemed like the sun was never out, and those people were just so bitter. So it's just like, y'all need some energy in your life. So I think it's tied to energy some way, somehow.
No, I can feel that. The sun.
There's a lot of big Shirleys. Hold on. Sorry. Teriyaki is a fool for that one.
Yeah, I guess you are right. The sun does charge you 100%. I do feel that. Yeah, but I mean it kind of goes to show, like, the ones that are on night shift, how much they have to do even more to stay on the healthy side of things, because of know what it does to your the internal clock in your body and things like that. So yeah, for sure.
Because they probably get off and do a lot of stuff in the morning so that they can get some of that sunlight in, and then try to wind down to still get their 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours in, later on throughout the day. Because if you think about it, if you work a regular day job, you're not coming home and going straight to sleep. You're not doing that. You are coming home, you're cooking dinner, you're helping with homework, you're doing whatever you need to do for a little bit, and then you go to bed. So it's probably that for nurses, whereas someone that probably does like road work in the middle of the night, they're probably going home because it's such a strenuous job, and going straight. And those some big boys out there. You seen them?
Yeah, true. Yeah, so obviously we've been kind of seeing we've been covering a lot of inflation in the nation right now, and how much prices, whether it's fast food or retail, have been going up. The gas has been going up. I kind of wanted to show this video of what they're kind of looking at for the summertime.
Okay.
This summer, Burger King will let you have it for less, announcing its new $5 value meal. So what's on the menu? It'll include one of 3 sandwiches, nuggets, fries, and a drink. The offer rolling out after news McDonald's has plans for its own $5 limited time deal.
I mean, this is absolutely expected from Burger King. It's kind of aggressive because they're going to start it earlier and they're going to keep it longer.
It's all part of the ongoing fast food fight for your dollars.
Why is it so expensive?
After industry-wide prices jumped nearly 28% from 2019 to 2023, outpacing overall inflation.
It's getting out of hand.
The promotional deal is a drastic effort to get diners through the door.
So how low will the burger wars go? Well, at participating Wendy's, starting on Tuesday and lasting for 6 days, you'll be able to buy a burger for just a penny with any purchase. All you have to do is register on the app or website.
Analysts are pointing to increased packaging and labor costs for the price hikes. But the sticker shock is now causing many customers to pull back.
We've seen traffic pretty broadly at fast food restaurants in particular really coming down this year. They need to devote some of their marketing attention to value, to tell the customer, we hear you, we are doing something about it. Here's a $5 meal deal.
And it's not just fast food franchises scrambling to address the pain that years of inflation have inflicted on customers' pocketbooks. Earlier this week, Target announced it's slashing prices on about 5,000 food, beverage, and other essential items, while Walmart introduced a new premium grocery brand, with most items under, you guessed it, $5. A price point penny pinchers hope will lead to a long-awaited summer of savings. Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News, New York.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and
Yeah, so what you think about the so-called price cuts on certain things?
I think it's a good start, but if they really want my money, they will bring the dollar menu back.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a really good start, and I think it'll definitely get the traction that they're looking for, because they said it'll be a burger, nuggets, fries, and a drink.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to get some traction, but it's a good start because it is expensive.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're cutting prices because they have seen the numbers decline, right? So it almost feels like if we, the consumer, right, wanted say our fast food chains to go back to somewhat of a dollar menu, it almost feels like we should boycott as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because that is the only reason why the prices are going down. They're not actually looking out for us. They're slashing the prices because they see the numbers are going down. It seems
right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like as a community, we should see how much our dollars matter and get the word out, and bring the dollar menu back.
Right. Man, I tell you what, that dollar menu come back, teriyaki, nobody is gonna be cooking at home.
Because that's what we're doing now, and I'm telling you now, cooking. I don't know if y'all met my man. He don't eat leftovers, so it's ghetto here.
You need to stop.
Now eat leftovers.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so
let's not buy houses or cars so they can lower those. I feel that.
Hey,
I feel that one.
I feel you on that, Hersh. So, yeah. So this is the last thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, and then I just wanted. So this is the last conversation piece, and then I was gonna show a outro video.
Okay.
Right here. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. All over this building. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. Lift your hands. I need us all on one accord right now. All on one accord. All on one accord. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, could you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out. Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Could you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean. I'm here to protect you. And anything that is in violation of it has got to go. Lift your hands right here.
So I just wanted to play it one more time so you can.
It's right here. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. All over this building. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. Lift your hands. I need us all on one accord right now. All on one accord. All on one accord. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, could you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out. Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Can you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean. I'm here to protect you. And anything that is in violation of it has got to go.
Okay. So you just saw the video.
Yeah.
My question is, how much authority does the pastor have in the church?
Man, that's why he said lift your hands or get out.
Get out.
Like, yeah, like, man, I can't speak for how people run their buildings or their services, but you should want to lift your hands because you're feeling the spirit, right?
Right.
I don't think that she should be forcing the spirit on anybody, because if I don't lift my hands and I don't receive, that's my choice, right? So,
Right.
like, yeah, I
But
don't, yeah,
but
that's
but also too, if the speaker of the house, which I'm guessing that might be the pastor,
mm,
if he is basically giving the order, that's what he was doing.
hmm
And he also said, I'm here to protect, I'm here to I'm here to protect you.
hmm again,
Is
if I choose no protection, then yeah, I mean, I guess it would have been time for me to get out, because like you can't force people into the spirit, right? As
right.
as a person that is choosing to follow God and be led, right? Don't force anything on me, because then I'm gonna go back to the thought process of, this is made up. Y'all are faking deliverance. Y'all are, and I get it. You're protecting me, but if that's for God to convict me, then let me go through my conviction.
Mm, okay. Okay. So anytime so how do you feel about turn to your neighbor? Like, is that something that um is more spirit led or pastor, led?
So when it comes to turning to your neighbor, it's a welcoming thing, right? A lot of people feel alone. The first
Okay.
video you started off with was, all these children at colleges went and got baptized because they feel isolated, right? And so
Right.
when you're turning to your neighbor, right, you don't have to. You can choose to sit in your seat. A lot of people, if you ever go to a church and they say turn to your neighbor, you see a lot of people still at their seat with their head down, and then you see people going out there to mingle, right?
Okay.
And so I feel like it should be by your choice, because God is a gentleman. So why are we choosing to be bullies?
Mm,
You get what I'm saying? Like, if
right.
God is a gentleman, how dare you tell me, you know, I need to get up and do these things. Now, if I made that choice, that's between me and the Lord. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
If
So
anything, that should give you the opportunity to pray for me even more, because I don't see the light.
mm, it's more about it's more about it's more about prayer versus I guess would you call that peer pressure, or
Uh,
would you call that like man convicting you?
I would say man convicting, and I get that he was trying to set an atmosphere, and I do understand, but at some point as a pastor, you should discern the spirits that you're dealing with. You should know, a shepherd should know what's in his flock, right? So you should know exactly, okay, this person is not ready yet, this person is still right here, and these people are, just again back to the school building. When you are in class, it's a group full of children, say 20 to 30 kids. You know
Right.
which level each child is on based off of their test scores or their ability to do the work, right? How
Right.
much they participate. And so, it's the same thing in the spirit. Like, I don't have to get up. I don't need to turn to my neighbor. I don't need to do any of that. As I grow in love with Christ, then those things will come. You don't need to tell me how to dress. You don't need to tell me how to behave. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
over time, I'm going to get it.
Right. No, I feel you. What's up, Shawn?
Yo, what it do?
What it do? What it do? Did you get to see that video right there?
I did not. I did
Oh,
not. I just jumped on.
cool. I wanted to show you this video. This is what
Yeah, this what
we're kind of rapping about right here.
Okay.
Well, first, man, I actually I wanted to show you something else real quick, if everyone can just bear. I wanted to show you this first piece that we covered. I don't know if you had seen it over the news, but I'm gonna just show you like the first 30 seconds of this part right here, because I don't
Okay.
know.
That's right, Key. She's supposed to invite him in.
Californians are feeling more faithful and connected after a massive record-shattering baptism that took place across the state of California in the Baptize California movement. 12,000 people took the biblical plunge in the largest baptism in U.S. history last weekend. Of course, this comes after a number of college campuses have held their own massive worship events in recent months. So why are more stories like these making headlines? Why aren't they making headlines? Well, here to discuss is strategic advisor to Faith in Media Coalition, Kim Douglas.
Yeah, so I just wanted to show that little part because that's some real good positive news that may not get the attention that it deserves.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Yo,
100%.
12,000 people? How long did that take?
Right. That's the real question. How long did that take? Cause
Jeez.
cause I got baptized with about 10.
That was 2 hours.
And boy, I was hungry after that. so I can imagine 12,000.
That's crazy.
Okay. Yep. So this is what we are talking about.
It's right here. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. All over this building. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. Lift your hands. I need us all on one accord right now. All on one accord. All on accord. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, could you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out. Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Could you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean. I'm here to protect you. And anything that is in violation of it has got to go. Lift your hands right here. Lift.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, we kind of just was talking about that. It's that bully mentality sometimes that I feel like, not all, of course, but some have that bully mentality, and then that's what is portrayed out on social media, because obviously we love negativity, we love controversy. So those are the types of speakers, pastors that we're gonna see more than the welcoming types of speakers. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just I would love to know the backstory, because it seems like it's always the backstory, even with the hush pastor. It
Correct.
was like, yeah, I've been dealing with this for 4 years. So I can't see a backstory on this. Like, I can't see, you're telling me lift my hands or get out. I don't. I mean, I'm not comprehending why I would need to get out if I don't lift my hands. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I believe the black church do, which is, I'm black, but I think that one of the things that black churches do, they have a spirit of control. And the spirit of control comes in because they feel like they need to be in control, and you're not going to not listen to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's a spirit that's governed by a lot of African American pastors. I'm not saying that, like, I don't know what happened. So I always want to say I don't know what happened after the hush pastor said what he said. Now it just kind of opened my eyes to, don't always judge the first thing I see.
Right.
So I don't know the backstory behind it. I feel like that's wrong right now from the outside looking in. But I believe that most African American pastors, I won't say most, but a lot of African American pastors, they have a spirit. They have a spirit of control. They really want to control the church. They really want to do. They want the church to do everything that they say do. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I heard you when you said, like, when I got on, I heard you with the whole turn to your neighbor thing. The
Right.
whole turn to the neighbor thing, I sometimes get frustrated with the whole turn to the neighbor thing, but I understand why they say turn to the neighbor, because turning to the neighbor uh, is one of those things, because the church is so in their own bubble. The pastor tried to say, hey, turn to your neighbor so you can commune with your neighbor, so you won't feel left out, so you won't so because there's no way we come to church. It's like when I was in New York. When we lived in New York, I lived in New York for 16, 17 years, okay?
Right.
Yo, I did not know my next door neighbor. It's million of us in New York. And
Right.
I did not know my next door neighbor. I didn't know who was on the fourth floor, fifth floor, sixth floor, seventh floor. And we had apartments. Our apartments was A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? So what is that? I don't even know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What is that, like seven? So we had seven apartments. Each apartment contained what, like maybe five rooms or four rooms.
Right.
So like we did not know nobody because we stay to ourselves. So I said that because in church, a lot of people go to church, but they stay to themselves. And I don't think the church should be like that. So that's why pastors say, hey, turn to your neighbor. So you can like form relationship with the person that's sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? Because we shouldn't be a lone what is it, a lone stranger. We shouldn't be lone ranger. Yeah. So we shouldn't be like just by ourselves. We shouldn't be like an island. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they say, hey, turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I love you. Turn to your neighbor and say, it won't be me tonight. Like
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. So I understand why they do it, but I don't. So that's just that's
Right.
just me.
Yeah. No. So like, when is it the? I guess it's more of for understanding, right? When is it the time for I guess the speaker of the house to demand like the congregation to do something?
Can you explain that? What you mean by that?
Yeah, so in a case like the let's say the Houston pastor, right? The Hush pastor, when he was basically setting order. That's pretty much why he did that, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that was him, for correction per se. But that it also had to do with him setting order, giving a demand. So when is it? So we understand that that's the backstory behind that was like, hey, I done told you to kind of like, hey, keep this in the flow of the Holy Ghost, right?
Mhm.
That's basically what it sound like.
Mhm.
When does the pastor have the I guess the right to demand something from the congregation? Like this, as in like, hey, put your hands up, whether that's sing or any type of, I guess, command like that.
Um, you wanna answer, Amanda? So so this is what I know. I know that when you come to church, you participate as you like. Okay? Um the pastor can ask you to do a thing, okay? If you're not doing that thing, okay. I believe when spiritual warfare come in and there's a spirit in a person,
Mhm.
there's a demon in a person, that's when you command that spirit to get out. Uh, Here goes story time. I remember
Ready.
I remember being in the church and this old lady comes in. This lady's like, what is this lady? Like 69, 79, and she sits in the back. She was already strange. I was an usher. Big, I was, like I said, I have always been a big guy, right? So, I'm used to intimidating people, which is not a spirit of God, right? Because I won't even go into that. But anyway, so I know I'm a big guy, so I used to like intimidating people, right? That's not God, y'all, but I used to like that, right? So anyway, so when I come in, she comes into the church, she pays me no attention. And I'm
Okay.
like, yo, this lady didn't even look at me. You know what I'm saying? So the lady sits in the back, lady sitting in the back, and it was time for offering. Now our overseer saw this lady, and he said, "What are you here for?" Now I'm confused because this is a guest. This is a guest. This is a guest. And
Right.
she said, "I'm here to be a part of the church. I'm here to, just be in church or whatever the case is." He said, "What is your assignment here? What are you here for?" So I'm like, "Yo, this is spooky. Like, what's going on?" He said, "Don't interrupt the flow of my church." I'm totally confused. I'm like,
Right.
what in the world? Right? You remember that
Right.
day, right? And I was like, listen, I'm confused, y'all, because this is just an old lady that came into the church. And she start dancing. She start dancing during offering.
What?
And she goes up there and put $1 in the offering, okay?
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And he say, "Witch, you are not invited in here." She was a
Mm-hmm.
witch.
Mm-hmm.
She was a witch. Yo, a straight witch. They started praying. She started backing up. It looks crazy. If
Whoa.
you're not used to that,
Right.
yo, you'll
Right.
be like, yo, what's going on? Because I've been in deliverance like before. I, so I'm not, it wasn't like, but I was used to it at the altar. Somebody come up for prayer, they start
Right.
falling down, spitting. Yeah, I get that. But this old lady just came into the church, just mosey old and do and like she sit there. So he say, "You're not invited." Started casting out. She start backing up. You know what I'm saying? She start backing up. "You're wrong. I'm in order." He said, "You're out of order." And the Bible says such and such. And blah 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 blah. Like they going back and forth at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's
Right.
speaking the word over her, and she start backing up. She start backing up. So she leaves the church. Now, she left the church, but she left something under the seat. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Go lift the seat up." And he lifted the seat up, and it was like a wooden cross. And, we was told to like get some gloves and put it in the trash and take it outside, right? You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
prayed over that area, we anointed that area, and we anointed the dollar. They kept the dollar. Oh,
Can't
that
get no
goes back to
change.
money. But anyway, they anointed the dollar. They kept the dollar. Okay. But what I just shared that story because I think it's important to know, um, like to see in a spirit because everybody would not have seen that. She could have
Right.
utterly
Right.
devoured that church if you are not a pastor and you don't see in the spirit realm. So I
Right.
Right.
believe that like I can't touch what he just said until I know why he said it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to
Dang.
like throw him under the rug and I don't know what
That's deep.
happened because I did that with the hush pastor. And now I understand why he said it, because he had the authority to tell her not so much hush, but be quiet, because you're interrupting the spirit and the flow of the service. And we talked about this for 4 years. So that's a spirit that you just want to, no, shut up. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's what I got. That's what I got.
Dang, that's deep, and that is the understanding and the wisdom that that we kind of speak on, and just operating out of just ignorance, right? Because that's what a lot of us operate in life under. Um, not really understanding what you just said. It could look as kind of like how we talked about it, where it's just like, yo, why would a pastor tell somebody on his praise and worship team to hush, or why would a pastor tell someone that looks like it's in the audience, maybe that's part of the praise and worship team as well. Whatever the case may be, it's the fact of understanding that it's not always in in, in the flesh, right? If you are operating in the spiritual realm, you could see that, and not everyone obviously is privy to that at that moment, in whatever type of journey that they're in. So that's powerful, bro. Like I needed that, because I struggle with people feeling like they have too much control, and especially over people, because it looks, it doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying? When you operate in that type of way, where you just feel like you gotta control everything. You gotta control the noise, the how people, what time people come in, and all of those things. And of course you gotta have order. I'm 100% with that. But sometimes it just feels like, kind of like you said in the beginning, where they just take it overboard with the control part. The authority.
And I want to say this too, because this is real good, Lenny. Like this is dope. You know, I, God has put me and my wife in position where we are pastors. This is not something that I just was like, oh man, I want to be a pastor when I grow up. Like I did not want that. Like we did not want that. Because when you elevate, right, even I mean anywhere, when you elevate, there's more responsibility. There's certain things you can't do that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore. It's just so much that goes along with that. And I'm not bragging that I'm a pastor. I don't brag because of that, right? I would have been a minister my whole life, just a man of God. I don't need anything, right? But I say that because you have to be in a position where you can truly have relationship with the Lord and be one with the Lord, and the Lord will open your eyes to things that people don't see. And that's why pastoring is so serious, because you have people under you that you are responsible for, right? You are responsible for these people that the Lord has given you to govern over. So yes, you have a form of control, but everything you do, like the Bible says, everything you do until the Lord. And one of the things is that I believe that people don't understand is you do things in gentleness and meekness. So what you do it in gentleness. Hey, how about, you know, I don't know, moving that chair for me, man of God. It makes them want to be a part. You know what I'm saying? And it's not reverse psychology. It's just the way you say a thing. Another story, y'all. Another story. So I remember. So I remember. Can't make none of this up. My wife is right here. She's listening to me. I remember me and my wife was going away for our anniversary. Okay. See, this is it. This is this is it. I started saying one thing. She just started laughing. So
Oh
so
man.
so me and my wife, me and my wife, we in this church. And I don't want to bash. Let me just say this, right? I don't want to bash the church. I don't want to bash the pastors. I don't want to do that. I don't want like people to look at them because I won't say names, but I don't want them to look at them as bad or evil. I believe that you are only who you are because of circumstances made you like this, or you're not truly listening to the Holy Spirit. And it goes into control, right? So it's not like they're bad people, it's just like they don't get it. They're not letting the Lord like really, really move on their behalf in their mind. You know what I'm saying? So back to the story. Me and my wife are going out of town. We want to go somewhere for our anniversary. We don't have a lot of money, but we saved up and we just want to go out of town for the weekend. All right. We're leaving that Friday. Well, we're leaving that Thursday night. So we're gonna spend the night Thursday, Friday, come back Sunday, but we will miss church. Okay. So I believe that if you are under a ministry and you are part of leadership, and even if you're not part of leadership, you need to let your pastor know, hey, look, I'm not going to be in service on this day because blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the right thing to do. That is order. And that's how we was trained. Okay. So long story short, went to the pastor. Me and my wife went to the pastor and said, hey, look, we just want to let you know this Sunday we won't be here, and we just want to let you know it's our anniversary, and we just gonna have some time and just live in the moment, right? Basically, and he said, why you got to miss Sunday though? And I was like, because we don't really want to wake up that early and travel back just to make church at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? We're somewhere 2-3 hours away. We don't want to wake up at 6 and have to make church at 9:30. Like, like I just don't want to do that. And I kind of don't feel led to do that because we're out enjoying ourselves.
Right.
And he was like, no, you can't go. I said, "Oh, excuse me?" So when he said, no, you can't go, I just told you the story about the witch. So now I'm thinking he sees something. He see a car accident in the future. He sees something because he's a seer. I trust
Right.
this man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking he sees something and I'm like, yo, I ain't going if he sees something, I ain't going. So I'm a question asker. You know what I'm saying? So I asked the question, why? I think that's a fair question, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I said, why? Like, why can't we go? He said, because I don't want you to go. Now, that's flesh. So I'm like, you don't want me to go? I was like, what's the reason though? He was like, you're in leadership and you need to be here. And I'm like, but it's my anniversary and I want to go away. He was like, well, you're going away these days before. Just be at church. I'm like, no. Now the Shawn, you know what I'm saying? They used to call me Bubba. Now the Bubba came out. I'm like, what you mean? No. Like, I'm like, nah. Mm-mm. I'm like, no, I'm not coming. I won't be here. And he was like, well, I need you here. It's not a lot of us. I need you here. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming. I said, I'll let you know, me saying I'm not going to be here, blah, 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 blah. All right. So we left. We did not come that Sunday. Now, this is the thing about it. Now, this is the crazy thing about it. Y'all ready for this?
Right.
We didn't come. Nothing happened, no car accident, no nothing, right? We didn't almost die, none of that. But But while we was there, I felt convicted, and I couldn't enjoy my weekend. Now, I couldn't. It's not that I felt convicted because I was wrong,
Right.
but I felt no. How can I say this? It's not that I felt convicted because I was wrong for going, but I felt convicted because he was leadership. He was over me, and I believe that if you pray about a thing and your leadership is wrong, I believe that God will correct your leaders.
Mhm.
So I didn't go. And even though I was right for going and I had a excuse for going, God still convicted me because I should not have went. Now you're saying why should you have went? Because I mean you want to go away, it's your anniversary, blah blah blah. Still, when you're under leadership, I believe that you still listen to the leadership, as long as it's not going to get you killed. You still listen to that leader, and you still do what that leader say and take it to the Lord. You say, "Look, I don't know why Bishop such and such. I don't know why Apostle such and such. I don't know why Pastor such and such is doing this to me. I feel this way. Please get him." In so
Right.
many words, like get him. And I have seen that happen in the future after that. You know what I'm saying? Like after that happened. So it was just, I said I kind of shared that story because the control is really a thing in this church, in churches. Controlling is a big thing. You cannot tell anybody what to do um in your flesh. Like in your flesh, if God say, "Hey, you know what? If God tell me to tell you to give, hey, look, the Lord told me, Lenny, you got $20. Can you please give Mary $20?" And you say, "Okay, sure, no problem." You give Mary $20, and then Mary come back next week and say, "You know what? I wasn't gonna say anything, but that $20 was what I needed to pay my electric bill." You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
God used people like that. I'm not gonna say that He does not use people like that, but I believe that the spirit of control has been in the church so long that people get it confused with loyalty, and it's not loyalty, it's control. So
Mhm. Okay. I could see where you're coming from, where we would need more context. I just, when I was speaking, I was saying, if you have a person that is interested in going in church, you don't want to put it out there like, "Oh, if you're not like this or if you're not like that, then don't come." If you can't raise your hands and worship, or you have to turn to your neighbor. Like, I love how you put that. You want to get to know the people. You don't know your neighbors or this, that, and the third. But there's a lot of new believers that come in and they don't know church etiquette and or relationship etiquette with the Lord. And so it's just easier to, you know when you see these videos, it just puts that stigma of, "Oh man, you guys are overly religious." Like, and so yeah, I'm glad that you put those perspectives out there. So I'll stand corrected. I don't know what that pastor was talking about, but if it was not that, then yeah, amen.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So Shawn, I had a kind of like a follow up, possibly to like basically what you said, and maybe just some understanding. Um. So the question was, is there is there a difference between following your church leader and God?
so let's go to scripture. I try not to give you anything without scripture. And Jesus said, follow me. He said, follow me as I follow Christ, right? Follow me as I follow Christ. That who said that? Paul? Who said that? But it's in the scripture, right?
Okay.
Follow me as I follow Christ. So you should be following the man of God, a man of God, as he follow Christ. Now, when he's not following Christ, then that's when you then step to the side and say, okay, well, what exactly is going on? You know, because I was in a ministry for years, and there was a lot of things that I saw that I did not like, that I know wasn't the Lord, and God did not release me. So I believe that God will do certain things for a season so you can know what not to do. I did not know I was going to be a pastor. So I believe that was one of the things that he was showing me was what not to do. What not to do. You know, and I'm like, why I'm still here? Why I'm still here? Why I'm still here? I'm like, but they doing this and they doing this, Lord. They doing this, Lord. And God's like, stay, 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 stay. And then when he released us, yo, you thought we were Sonic the way we moved, because we left. We was like, pew, you know, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it. But at the end of the day, I did what the Lord told me to do. Okay? I did what the Lord told me to do. And so just to answer that question, yes, I believe you follow the man or the woman of God until they're not following Christ. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case is. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Um, Let me see. Yeah. Um, so I'm gonna take both of y'all down real quick. Um, so I wanted to I can cut both of y'all. I wanted to cut it right there because we have some family stuff to do. And I am glad that I was obedient in doing this show today, because I did not want to do this show at all. I think Shawn definitely knows that. Keith knows that. I did not want to do this show at all. I'm glad I did, because some of those things that I put out today probably wouldn't have been able to be talked about on a broad level the way that we was able to do. And I wanted to show this video and leave off with some words for myself and for us. So here is the video that I wanted to leave with, and then right after this, I wanted to say a couple words, and then we can enjoy the rest of our Sunday.
Tonight, desperation growing. A crowd of displaced Palestinians in Rafah descending on an aid truck. These are familiar scenes now as hunger grips the entire population. Thousands lined up every day to bring food back to their families. Magdi Hussein stands patiently above the crowd. For God's sakes, Magdi says, every time we come, we leave with nothing. Please, he says, I have 25 people at home. But on this day, the food at this distribution point runs out. The World Food Program warns 1 in 4 Gazans are facing emergency levels of food insecurity, and an additional 500,000 are at risk of famine by May.
People are so scared that they don't know where the next meal's coming from.
Children scrape at the bottom of the empty pan, straight into their hungry mouths. and one little boy saving each tiny fingerful to share with his family. Magdi walks 2.5 miles home. There's nothing today, he tells his waiting family. Elsewhere, people are resorting to eating animal feed. We're forced to do this, he says. There's no alternative. Tonight, the Red Crescent says 150 aid trucks are lined up, waiting to get into Gaza. Only 75 entered today, not even close to what's needed. Aid agencies say it's a combination of a lengthy Israeli inspection process, a lawless, chaotic situation inside, and continued Israeli attacks that prevent the aid from getting to the people who need it most. Molly Hunter, NBC News, Jerusalem.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Yeah, so with that, no matter where you lie on the fence of what's going on in the world, whether that's the right, left, wherever you feel about it, at the end of the day, when you see that, you have to think about it from a humanity standpoint and understand what your life looks like versus what other people's life may look like within the country, as we've been showcasing every week here, and overseas as well. And I know that we know stories and we see things, but it's more of what are you going to do about it? And I'm not saying that we can sit here and cure world hunger or anything like that. But I kind of wanted to leave this verse with us and something to kind of think about, tonight when you pray and, throughout the week. So I just wanted to come here, Ephesians 6, um, verse 7. So it says, serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not people. And when I seen that, that really touched me because I'm we have to look at it from the service part and not so much of who we're serving and just understand from the serving is what matters. And if we can look at it from like, hey, I'm serving the Lord. Like, I'm not serving this food bank here in Hawaii, or I'm not serving this homeless shelter here in North Carolina. I'm not, at this um, clothing shelter for, the homeless here in California, Texas, wherever you may be. It's about serving the Lord. Like, that is the part that we're doing. It's not necessarily the individual that is definitely a great thing because we're serving them food, or we're helping sort out food, or whatever the case may be. It's more about serving the Lord. And I want us to, kind of, think about that as we, go on out our day and understand how grateful we are, even when it may not seem like that, and it may seem like, oh man, like the the bills that I have are, too much, or I'm not making enough money, or I am hungry. Like, that video right there puts a lot of perspective on how grateful our life is and how much or how little we're actually serving. And it doesn't always have to be on our time. And that's sometimes I fall victim to that, where I only want to serve on my time. It should just be the service part, like serve, and put that at the forefront of your life, because that is Jesus like, and the service is about serving the Lord and not just the individual. And yeah, I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all Sunday over there on the East Coast. And my boy Teriyaki on the West. Love y'all. And I will see y'all next week, Thursday. All right. Peace.
Jesus like, don't trip, finna make the boat tip. Set the tone with that ice cold, but I won't slip. In my bag like road trip. Switch stands, do my dance, dog, he really don't miss. I don't need a crystal less it's hot sauce, brother. And I ain't gotta sell my soul just to pop off, brother. Ain't no demon time when you anointed. I keep it regal like movies and hop out like I'm getting dropped off, brother. All smelling brand new. And we don't rock with the flakes, call me shampoo. Just tryna spread that light, bring them lamps through. It's got me thinking that it's nothing that I can't do. Feeling like the champ too.
We're just out here praising God, looking fly, regular day.
No pressure, look how God done bless you. Come on. Wonder why I'm feeling extra. Say what it do, what the business is.